everybody, this is Tarina. Sorry I've been away for a while. I've kind of been sick, and so you'll hear me sniffling and maybe clear my throat throughout this video. Sorry about that, but there's no way around it. I saved me some time just simply because I'm sick, and I already cut out my papers for this video. I'm going to make these two cards, only I'm going to kind of up the embellishing a bit. And so I'm going to do things like stitching and edge distressing and heat embossing. And so I am going to go ahead and get started. And I figured since I'm doing all of that extra stuff, I'm just going to pre-cut my papers. So I've got an A5, A2, A5, I think it's A5 card base, just your 4 1/4 by 5.5, and then I went ahead and did one of each of these for A. So I went ahead and did 1B, 1A, 1C, and I just did one of each of these. And then I also did one of the B pieces, because I'm going to go ahead and use this as a guide. So I'm going to go ahead and put this up, and we will go ahead and get started. So what I'm going to start with is, I think I'm just going to complete the stamping first off. Let's see if I can find my embossing paper so that it keeps all the embossing in one spot. I'm pretty sure, you know, we could even, I don't have my clear out. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just do all of the black in black embossing, and I don't have any close to my heart black embossing, so I'm going to use the Inka Dinka Doo black embossing powder. This is probably getting up there in age as well, but you gotta use what you got, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on the stamping. So I am going to use my stamp positioning tool. I love this thing. If you haven't gotten one yet, I would highly suggest it. I sometimes I use my blocks, but with things like these where you know you want them to be in a specific place, I definitely suggest using this. It makes the job so much easier. So I'm not sure if I want to do it in that corner or not. Okay. So I've got, let's see, thistle. And I think that's all we need other than this one here for some mark. What do I want first? I don't know what I want first. Got my thistle and my raspberry, and I think I'm gonna just go with the black first. If you haven't watched my previous videos, I made one of each of the option A and option B of project 1 and project 2, and I made sure that you guys I tried to make sure that you guys heard that you can only get the stamp set if you order this kit, the card making kit, and it's the Miss You card making kit from Close to My Heart. And let's see. Oh, for Miss You. I'm a little out of practice, so you'll have to maybe be a little patient with me. I love how you can line it up perfectly. That'll work just fine. Alright. sure you get this nice and covered, but you don't want too much on there at the same time. Guess what I forgot to do? I forgot to do my embossing pad. Uh-oh. Well, I guess we'll see how it works. If nothing else, I can flip it over. Let's set this out of the way while I try the embossing powder. If it sticks too much, I'm going to have to redo it, but luckily I have a second side for that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to do the other side. Yep. Alright, so I'm just going to use my embossing buddy, which would have been nice to use beforehand. Clean that off and retry this. This down here and use this. Mine is from Ancient from Stampin' Up, but it still works great. And it just puts a little bit of powder on there so that the ink doesn't stick to anything except for where you put the embossing powder doesn't stick anywhere except for where you put the ink. So it's really handy. Much better. There's only a very few. Now if I can find my, what in the world happened to my thing here? There it is. It's hiding. There we go. There's just one or two here that I can flake off that makes it much better. Okay. Set that aside, and I'm going to pause you while I heat this up. Alright, I got that embossed, and I don't know if you can see the little bit of shine on there or not, but it just adds that extra oomph. Alright, so from there we're going to do the so much. And this one, I think I'm going to just go ahead and put that on there now. I missed a little bit of a spot there. Okay, so let's see. Get this where we want it to be. Like so, maybe. And then we're going to do this one in Thistle. And that came out perfect. Another thing that I like about this is if you don't stamp it perfect the first time, it's still in the same spot that you had it, so it's very easy to restamp. without causing extra movement lines, which I love that too. Okay, I guess probably cleaning that off would be a good idea. Alright. Now I think we're going to go ahead and do the hearts over here, and I think I'm going to emboss the little sad face on these ones. I'm not sure. I think I want to do the other one first. Now I know I had a little piece here somewhere. Where did it go? There it is. See, look at that. Hiding stuff from myself. Ha, here we go. Alright, so this one, we're going to do the little one here. And I think I have, yeah. For things like this, I kind of tend not to use the things. I don't really care where it ends up on the paper. And this one is done in raspberry. Perfect. I love these too. If you haven't tried these yet, you should give them a try. They are lovely. The stamp pads from Close to My Heart. I am really looking forward to getting my whole set. And right now I've only got, I think, 2 or 3 of them. But I already know that I'm in love. They're awesome. Alright. Now for the little face. It's a little frowny face, and I'm going to go ahead and use this too. Let's see. I'm going to do the embossing buddy. And then the embossing powder. I mean, Versamark ink. Okay, and maybe, just maybe, I might have enough on there. Alright, I'm going to do my sad face in there. And then I'm going to see how that works. Ooh. Clean around the heart a little bit. See if we can get that eye covered a bit better. My goodness. There we go. That's a little better. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause you guys again. And if I can find the button. Alrighty, so I got that embossed, and that just adds a little bit of shine on that little guy's face. And I'm going to trim that out. Somewhere here I have the scissors. They're not the ones I was expecting, but I guess they'll have to do. I'm just going to cut them out and leave just a little border around this little guy. Alright, so he's ready to go, sort of. I don't know why I call it a he. Alright, so that one's ready to go, and we will, I think what I'm going to do is I know I've got a stamp So I'm going to put this on here, like so, and then I'm going to put this here, and I'm just going to kind of pretend it's in the middle and stuck, because I'm going to put it up on pop dots. So I don't know if that's in the center or not. I guess it's as close as it's gonna get, huh? And I'm gonna go up a little bit, so it's sort of in the center. Okay. Now this one, I know I'm wanting fairly even. I think I'm just going to go ahead and, I don't know why, okay. Wow, my brain is just not here today. Don't know what's going on. Got out of practice or something. Kind of been out of it for about 2 weeks now. I've had a few videos saved up so that I could use those for now, but my, this is kind of rough. But I do love getting back into the swing of things. It feels pretty good. Alright, here we go. And it's down. And I'm going to do the other one on the other side and hope it comes out right. And I'm thinking this needs to be scooted over a touch, maybe. And then I think this could probably be moved down here. And I'll just go for it. Look at that, not too bad. A little closer to the side than the other side, but that's okay. I've started to figure out that if I let it bother me, it will bother me. If I don't let it bother me, it won't so much. So now I'm going to go ahead and I don't think I want to put that down yet. That's all ready, so I'm going to go ahead and put my inking stuff away. Or at least clean it up a little bit. That's another thing. Those things, they put away pretty nice. They stack really easily and everything, which is lovely. Paintbrush and my embossing powder. And I will have this out for the next card as well, but I'm going to give myself a little bit more room to put things together for now. Okay. Alrighty. So now I'm going to go ahead and use this guide here. That's not true. I'm going to use this guide, but not yet. I am going to do my edge distressing. And I'm pretty sure I'm just going to distress them all. Just so that we can get that kind of fully distressed feeling. I'm not sure if I want to do stitching on this one or not. We'll have to see after the distressing. Sometimes the distressing is a decent amount of addition to embellishment, and I don't feel like I need to add more, so I kind of like the idea of having, because I'm going to do this one here, kind of like the idea of having maybe stitching going across the bottom, or a line of stitching down below the white, the shimmer trim, or even on this piece here. So I'm not sure exactly what all I want to do that way, but I think with this one, even with distressing, with the edge distressing, I'm still gonna feel like I need more. This one not so much, but we'll see. Hi, Sophie. I made your spot right here. Yeah, there's my girl. You gonna help me out? Alright, help me out. Snuggly girl. Look at that bed you got. I made my cat a bed so she wasn't trying to climb on my lap, and she just found it. She was searching and couldn't find it on her own, of course. That's not her usual spot, so. Edge distressing is a technique that you can use on a lot of projects. I mean, it's, of course, generally paper projects, but you can do it on cards, you can do it on mixed media, you can do it on layouts. There's tons of ways that you can do it. And there's different variations, too. You can do it lightly, where it's just a little tiny scraped edge, like that. I don't know if you can see the difference. So this is very little. This is a little bit more. And then you can do even more to where it actually tears chunks out of the paper and stuff like that. And each of those looks really has a place in art, but it kind of all depends on what style you're going for. I've seen tons of mixed media that have the torn edges, and I've done a couple with the torn edges, and it's actually turns out beautiful. Some people prefer really clean work. Me, yeah, not so much. And see how that just makes that difference? It's not quite as stark, the edges. So I'm going to go ahead and do these guys as well. Now, the next card video that I'm going to do is a video of how I used some of the other papers from the Little Dreamer paper pack. Not the Workshop Your Way. I'm actually kind of branching out a little bit and showing you how you can use other papers to make and use these same instructions to make similar cards, just different colors. And so I decided my first card set would probably be using the Little Dreamer papers. And it's not all the same papers as these, so you'll be able to see the difference. And that'll be coming up in probably a day or two after this goes live. So and the last one. This is also another great way to hide when your trimmer blade needs sharpening. Or, well, I replaced it, but I replaced it with a titanium blade, and evidently those dull fairly quickly. They may last forever, but it doesn't really do a whole lot of good if they dull quickly, so, yeah. Or if you tear a piece off of the corner or something like that, the edge distressor covers that up perfectly. On top of looking great. So, alrighty, clean this up real quick. Alright. So now, that goes off. It is a little bit messy, but it's still pretty cool. Alright, so we've got this one here, like so, and this one here. I know that I'm not going to be stitching this one, though I might do some X's. That would be actually kind of cute. this out of the way. Oh look! Those were the scissors that I was looking for. Ha! They were just hiding. Alright, so I'm going to set this right in the center of here. And then I'm going to go ahead and kind of assemble the card, or not stick it down to the card, but I'm just going to figure out exactly where these are supposed to go. So I'm going to, let's see. And then this one over here, like so. That one goes a little bit farther over. All right. I think what I'm going to do is I am going to adhere these down where they are, and then I'm going to do a little bit of stitching, I think, and it will place these where I want them. Oh, there we go. So that is even there. We're going to make that even there. And in the center, like that. Alright, so what I'm going to do, put that away, which I'm going to need that for the next card. Now when you purchase this ruler, you can also purchase this, or not this, sorry, something like this. It's a pad that's actually got Close to My Heart stamped on it and everything, and it's just a foam pad. And when I got this ruler back in the day, I think when they first started coming out with these, I couldn't afford the mat, so I made my own. I got a piece of dollar foam from the dollar store, or not even the dollar store, Joann's, and I cut it in half and adhered it to it like back to back, and so now I have a double thickness foam pad that's almost the length of my thing here, my ruler, and it works just fine, which is nice, because granted having it the whole length of the ruler would be kind of nice too, I would have to say. Okay, so these little guides here, these here, you can do X's pretty nicely with that, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm not sure how I want to do it. I kind of think I want like a zigzag. I might just do a double stitch though. You just go ahead and you stamp through them, and then you just kind of put your stitch in where you need it, like so. And then I'm going to do one over here off of this edge here, just kind of to balance it out a little bit. I'm just going to figure out how far up I want it. Okay, something seems crooked. I don't know if it's me or if it's the whole... Oh, it's the whole thing. Okay. That was bothering me a little bit. I really don't like my papers crooked. Drives me kind of batty. Okay, so if I have it there, I'm thinking here. So I guess we go there. Should we do 2 or should we do 3? I think we should do 3, but I think the bottom one, there should be one down here near the bottom, because the top one is there, so we could have one down here. I think would look nice. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do there. Now I'm starting to wonder if I should have one up here. What do you think? I think I'm going to do it. Why? I have no idea. Just, I feel like it needs a bit more balance. Right here. Now I just need to figure out where that one goes. There we go. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and put these away for now. So this is kind of where I've got them. I've got them up here and here, and then I've kind of balanced that with here and here. And I'm going to go ahead, I don't have any white twine from Close to My Heart, so I'm going to go ahead and use just white embroidery floss. And I have a whole slew of needles in here, but they're all looking quite large, actually. So I think I'm going to go ahead and use one of these smaller ones. Maybe something with a larger eye that can hold the thread well. And this doesn't take a lot of thread, so, or shouldn't, I should say. I think I'm going to go ahead and split this in 3. Okay, 2, I mean. We'll split it in half and use 3 strands instead of 6. And I'm going to go ahead and pull that through. And I'm going to get started. So I'm going to go ahead and start from the back. For those of you who don't know how to sew, which some don't, so you start from the back, and usually when you're sewing on fabric, you can hold it down and stitch it in, or you can tie a knot in it. With crafting or paper crafting, I tend to use just a random washi tape that I'm not attached to, and I go ahead and just tape it down on the back side. Then you don't see it, and it doesn't come out. So, and I'm going to go ahead, I don't know if I can get close enough to where you guys can see this clearly. I'm going to go diagonal first, and then I'm going to look at the back and go from the bottom, and I'm going to go up to the top. And of course, just getting it done works, so there's either way. In high school, I used to go to the right for cross stitch, and then you go back to the left, and you do find a way to do it very, very quickly. I made my son's blanket, and it has a huge teddy bear on the front of it, and like with ribbons and butterflies, and I might have to show you guys one of these times. But yeah, it was definitely a cross stitch pattern that was huge, and I didn't realize it when I started it, but so that's the first one. And technically I could go from here to here and make 3 stitches, but I don't really want 3 stitches. I'm really just going for the 2 up there. So I'm going to go ahead and go down here, and you don't have to tape that one off. You can just go ahead and stretch it. And stitching can be any type of stitching that you want. There are lots of embroidery stitches that you can use on your crafting projects. You don't have to just do straight stitch, or which is just like a line along the edge. You can, and it adds, I've done it several times, it adds its very own style to the card. And you can also do the crosses, and that works pretty good. And now I'm going to go right down here. Now, if your line gets a little bit long there, you can just pull it and shorten it a little bit. Now, when you pull it through the paper, you do want to be careful, because when you pull it really hard, you don't want to pull long really hard, because it can rip the paper if you have just a single piece of paper. I'm kind of going through 3 right now, so it's a little bit stronger, but definitely be more gentle when you've just got one piece that you're stitching. And then we have just this one last stitch down here. And these are just, I mean, they might be a little time consuming, but they're, they add a decent amount of embellishment, and thread is pretty cheap, and so are needles. So, and not only are they add just the right amount of embellishment, but they are pretty good in price wise. They say, they save you a lot of money. Well, until you get addicted and you have, like, I don't know, 500 colors of thread and 50 packs of needles because you lost them and found them and bought more, and yeah, that happens too, but I think that happens with every kind of crafting product. Okay, so there's that, and I'm gonna go ahead and I think I'm gonna adhere that down. Let's see, I think that was all that was on my list here. And then we'll embellish after. We'll add the, oh, we've got bitty shimmer trim to do, don't we? Look at that. Alright, so this one sticks right inside of there. I kind of like it without with the stitching. I don't, and the distressing, I just don't think it needs that added sparkle, because I plan on adding some bitty sparkles and the little dreamer glitter gems. So I'm going to try that and see how that works first. And if we end up needing it, then I'll add it after. I might have to make this a few different videos just because of the length, so we'll see. Alright. Okay. And that goes down, and I'm liking that. And then the gems, let's see, we're going to get this little guy on there. He goes right in the center. And I'm going to use my Close to My Heart 3D foam tape. I can actually find it this time. Last time I couldn't find it. It was MIA. There we go. Stick it right on the back of there. And this one is the original, and they also have a thin version, which I'm assuming is much like the 3M. This is the thin, it's just 3M foam tape, but look at the difference in, I don't know if you could see that, the difference in depth there. And so I think they've got a thin version, or I know they have a thin version of the 3D foam tape from Close to My Heart. I just don't know, I haven't gotten it, so I don't know how thin it is, or the difference between the original and the thin version. But they do have some. Alright. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some little dreamer sparkles, and they say green, which is fine because the other two colors won't show up. So we're going to go for, I'm thinking we might need those across the bottom instead. What do you think? Here, here, and here. That'll work. Let's scoot over just a touch. And I'm going to scoot this one over just a touch. Like that. I think we're going to do it that way. And I'm not sure if I want to add bitty sparkles or not. Kind of do, but I'm kind of liking the distressed. It's doesn't feel like it needs a whole lot of. Okay, yes it does. My mind is. I can't remember which tool works better for these. There we go. I think that's probably good. Just to highlight the miss you a little bit more. You know what? I don't like those. And see, just like that, you can change your mind. Do like that though. In fact, I think I like the idea of having something on both sides of this. These are saying, don't put me here. Much better. Alright, I like that better. I like it without the... Alrighty, so that's card number 1. And I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. That's with the distressing and the cross stitching. Alright, and now we're going to go ahead and kind of clean this up, and I will get you guys all set up for card number 2.